guys are not used to eating out here in the yard, are you? They're used to eating up on the porch, not in the yard. It's funny he hasn't lost his little nubbins yet, because he should be starting to grow some horns back here pretty soon. Still got plenty of room on that old collar. It's dirty. We'll have to put you a new one on. The video that y'all are about to see is a kind of a compilation. I don't know if I said that right. Compilation of a lot of videos that I shot. You need to come here and eat, Melbourne. Here, come here and eat. A lot of videos that I shot. He said, "I'd rather fool around with your hair." Videos that I shot with my iPhone from the kitchen window, from the dining room window, from my bedroom, back during the rut. This guy is really something. I mean, he's got a kicker out there. Let me move over here to another window. Here's Lucy on the porch. I could turn that light on there. And there's this guy right here. And he is really, really, really a nice buck. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. He is 4 with the stickers, 5. And 4 on the other side, maybe 5. Lucy is up here on the porch by herself. I don't have that light turned on. I might flip it on here in just a second. And she is up here in her safety pen, her safety box. She is quite a smart little girl. So, and I guess that buck probably saw me here, because he turned around and walked off. He didn't get too excited. There's Lucy and there's Melbourne laying there looking at me through the door. And it's about midnight. I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the studio and do some filming, go to our studio up there in Tulsa. Beamer's right here thinking I'm going to go outside, so she's right here waiting on me to go outside. But Lucy is, there's Lucy. She's in her little hidey deal there. Not too worried, because she's up on the porch. They were laying out there in the yard just a minute ago, and I just got ready to finally go get in the tub, take a bath, set my alarm for 3 or 4 hours down the line, get up in the morning, go to Tulsa. But get to go to Ranger this week also. I have the Ranger event. Quit, Beaver, quit hitting that door. For the Ranger Advantage tour. Beamer keeps scratching the door here wanting to go out. She thinks that I need to be going outside. She hears me talking about Lucy, and she's wondering what's going on out there. But what's going on out there is the rut, full board rut. And I don't know. It'd be kind of nice just to stay up here and watch what's going to happen out here tonight. I think Lucy's just going to stay on the porch. If that buck wants to get involved in this activity, he's just going to have to get real brave. Ooh, I see her looking over there. He might be thinking about walking up on that porch. I don't know. Oh, my. Oh, my. Mother Nature at work. My little girl dear. And we shot for a period of actually a couple of weeks one time, and then probably a few days another time. And I shot literally hours of a video of Lucy during the rut. And we didn't really plan on showing it. It was just kind of interesting. So I was taking pictures, and it was just kind of a neat deal. But it was an amazing situation. We had bucks everywhere. We had bucks around the house, you know, in the morning, at night. And we learned so much from watching that, and it was so interesting. And we had one big old guy that was, you know, 140 score buck, not a giant buck, but about a 3.5 or 4.5-year-old buck. It was 140 score in the neighborhood of 140. I didn't go out and measure him. I thought for at times I could go out and measure him, as a matter of fact, because he just laid out here in the yard, and he kind of took control of the situation. You know, that's the way it works in the rut, is the big boys take control of the situation. And Lucy learned a trick, which we shot a little video of that and stuck it up a couple, 2 or 3 minutes one day. Lucy would get up on the deck, either here at this side of the house or around on the lakeside, and the bucks would not follow her up there. They would stick their head through the rope in front of the house there. They would almost walk up on the deck, but they were afraid to come up there. I got to worrying that a buck might come up there and see his reflection in one of the windows and actually fight with himself and break one of our windows out. I was concerned about that. That didn't happen, thankfully. So, but anyway, it was an amazing situation to see happen. And there's a few things that I learned is one, once he's, look at there, he's wanting to push her around right there. He's wanting to play. That's just a buck. That's the buck in him wanting to do that. He's wanting to kind of push her around top of his head. These deer right now are shedding, and they're shedding that's why they look so ragged. They're shedding their winter coat, and they're gonna have their summer coat because it's getting ready to be 100 degrees here in Oklahoma in a couple more months. And so they got hair everywhere. They're a pain. The hair just comes right out of them. Look at that. Just pick like that and it comes out in big wads, kind of like mine. But anyway, we learned so much. And one of the things we learned is God put in these animals such a urge to breed during a certain time of the year that God knew that once he developed that into that animal, we'd never run out of white-tailed deer. You know, when I was a kid, we didn't really have white-tailed deer here in Oklahoma, and they started them, and I think I had the first deer season when I was like 16 years old, and we had a 4-day season. It was a buck only, and that's when I started bow hunting. I didn't kill one until 4 years later, but we just didn't have deer, and now we have deer everywhere. I mean, I don't even know how many we kill in Oklahoma, but hundreds of thousands of deer, and it's all over the nation like this. It's everywhere. And it's because of what God built into them, the power to, and they only rut once a year, and Lucy really and truly, I think, would have rutted like 3 times. You want to play, don't you? 3 times. Why don't you just eat? Here, why don't you eat? Hey, why don't you just eat? Wanted to breed so badly that he lost all fear. Now this is a 3.5, 4-year-old buck. He's been hunted all his life, and he's been, hey, stay down. And he was so intent on going through that rut that he almost became tame. He didn't become tame, but what he really did was he became where he didn't really care. He just didn't care.
I come to see Lucy. Lucy said, "You better be careful, my boss will shoot you, big boy. You big pretty rascal." He's 3.5, maybe not me. Maybe I think he's 3.5. 2.5, maybe 2.5, 3.5. It's hard to tell for sure.
Taking pictures over an hour this morning, or 2 hours. I don't know. Not forever.
You know, Lucy might seriously want to think about hooking up with him. And you see him laying out there. He is so persistent. I got home about 8:30 from the Ranger Advantage tour meeting that I've been the last couple of days, and he was here. He's been here all day long, Chris said. She shot video off and on of him. And yet he's still here. I mean, it's about midnight, and he's still laying there, very, very patient. There's Lucy and little Milburn. They're laying in their spots. They must, I don't know, she's not hungry. They've got a lot left out there to eat, some carrots in there and potatoes and no grapes. Oh, I even see 1 or 2 grapes. If they don't eat all their grapes, that is an amazing deal, because they love grapes. If you have a vineyard and you have deer around, you're not going to have many grapes. But he's laying out there. He's kind of hard to see. I kind of zoom in on him a little bit there. There he is right out there. He's a nice big pretty boy, 2.5 or 3.5-year-old. And Lucy says, "I don't care, boss." She looked up there. She can see me through the window. She's looking out there at him. She's giving him the cold shoulder, turning her back on him. Little Milburn, he says, "Hey, don't be messing with my adopted mama." But I don't know if we're going to have any little baby Lucys or not. If that guy right there gets his way, we will. Oh, he jumped up. Well, I guess he jumped up and left. I didn't see him do it. Yeah. He finally saw me through the window also, I guess. Jumped up, moved off. He said, you know, you're a pretty girl. That guy might shoot me. Well, I wouldn't do that. That's definitely not hunting. And they would probably get me for hunting over live bait, which is what it would be, because Lucy's definitely bait right now. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You stay on the porch, baby, and you'll be just fine. Good night, Lucy.
You know, there was times, without a doubt, many times, that I could have walked out on the front deck with my bow, and he was within bow range, 20 or 30 yards. He laid right here in the front yard all night, many nights, because Lucy would get on the deck, and he couldn't get to her, and he would just lay in the front yard and wait. He would only get up if another buck come around, and he would run at that buck. Now, we never did see any bucks fighting here. We saw some little ones sparring, but we never did see any bucks fighting here in the yard. The only ones that, because that big guy, I mean, obviously he had already probably whipped all the other ones, or you know, got his dominance over them. And so as long as he was here, they were not going to get too close to Lucy. The other thing was kind of amazing is Lucy sort of acted like she was flirting. Now, she might not have been, but she acted like she was flirting. And she would like get down on the edge of the steps and act like she was going to come out in the yard, and he would come over close, and she'd go back and lay down, just lay down. But here's some of the things that I learned about the rut. It's just amazing how that buck would lay here all night long. I mean, he would lay there all night long and not move. He wouldn't get up and go feed. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't do anything. He would just lay here and wait for Lucy to come down. One of the things that I wondered about that is we see that happen in the woods also. We see where you might be in a deer stand, and you might have got on there and gotten that deer stand before daylight, and maybe an hour later, a doe came by and might be 100 or 200 yards away and laid down. And once she laid down, that buck's going to stand there and wait, and he's going to eventually lay down beside her, and that buck may lay there for hours on end, just 100 or 200 yards away from your stand, and you don't even know it. And then you get 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, you get down on your stand, you start to walk away, and you spook them, or you might walk right by them and they're laying down and you not even know it, because he doesn't care about you at that time. All he cares about is that doe, and he cares about the rut. Actually, one night, Lucy disappeared and was gone, totally gone, and I went out and looked for her about midnight on a mule, and I found her outside the high fence gate, laying down with that big 140 score buck right beside her. I mean, right beside her. So, and I walked her back. Actually, what I ended up doing is I walked her back to the house. So, but it is amazing that takes control of their entire life. Now, we love the rut as hunters. We love the rut because it's time that big bucks, they become kind of unaware and they don't worry too much about humans. But not only that, they cover a lot of territory. They breed with several different does during that time, and they cover a lot of territory looking for a doe that's kind of in the right situation. Lucy wants to love, and Milburn wants somebody to play with them. But so it's a bonus, it's a benefit because of that. You know, they're moving around a lot. But then again, on the other hand, it's a detriment also during that rut, because if they've got a doe that's right and that doe is just going to lay down, they're not going to move. They're not going to move. You can be 100 yards away and that buck is not going to come by you until that doe gets up and move. So that's one of the key things. The other thing is just how strong that drive is for them. It's absolutely amazing. And then we don't know if Lucy was bred or not. We kind of think she was. Might not have been during the first rut period, but there's multiple rut periods. We've heard about that all our life and figured that was probably true. But that's the way that God made these animals. He made these animals so there would always be animals. And I wonder, and the thing that really crosses my mind, and I think about the deer, and when I see this happen, when I see the fish spawn every year, it becomes a great time to fish because we got all these fish up in shallow water. God created the animals that he created so that they could recreate, so they could have babies and continue on and increase in numbers, just like mankind has increased in numbers starting from Adam and Eve. Hey guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that video. I enjoyed shooting it. It was so amazing. I never really thought that we'd ever put any of it in, but it got so interesting that we decided to use a lot. Be sure to subscribe to Jimmy Houston Outdoors. If you've watched any of our videos, you watch this video right now and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of people watch our videos that do not subscribe, so if you'll subscribe, you'll know every time we're going to post one. Watch this girl right here grow up. She's almost 2 years old right now, almost 2 years old. June 1, she'll be 2 years old. I talked to a guy the other day that his mama raised a doe deer and kept it for 26 years. Do you think you can stay away from the coyotes and mountain lions for 26 years? She said, yes, boss, just give me some sugar. Hey guys and girls, I love you. Have a great one.